Hey lazy peeps, it is Truly Teen and I want to talk to you about my top books from each month of 2024. These books exclude my top 10 reads for 2024 and that will be a separate video. So these are the top books from each month. So let's get started with January. January, I read A Study in Drowning by Ava Reid for our podcast. It was a buddy read. It has really great gothic like vibes, a hint of magic, a hint of monsters. It was just really super fun. So if you have not read A Study in Drowning yet, I recommend you add it to your TBR. For February, I chose the manga Until I Met My Husband. So this is a memoir. So it's not just like, your regular manga with mecha and magic and fighting. This is a memoir of a gay activist from Japan and the first religiously recognized same-sex marriage in Japan. It is beautiful. You will cry. 10 on 10. Highly recommend. For March, I read C.S. Pacat's Dark Air. So this is the sequel of Dark Rise, which is up here. I will read anything by this author. So her way she does characters is really cool. And they're always multi-layered. And Will from Dark Air is fantastic. It's also a very unique and different world. Picture like Victorian London is the main setting. For April, I did the audiobook for The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. And this one was just really neat. I liked that there was uncertainty around certain characters. I liked the magic. I liked the setting of Spain during the Inquisition and like all the different layers to it. It was just really cool. For May, I am picking When You Trap a Tiger by Tay Keller. So this is a middle grade book and it's really powerful with the main character being a child that is facing the inevitable end of their grandparent. So if you're looking for a good book that helps deal with grief, this is one that I would recommend. Then for June, I read Six of Crows, also by Leigh Bardugo. This one was part of my Unwrapped challenge. This book was on my TBR for years. My brother and my college roommate were like, Christine, you should read this book. And I was like, I'll get to it when I get to it. I'm so glad I finally got to it. It's really, really good. I enjoyed the character Kaz and how morally gray he is. And then I also really enjoyed how fast the book got once the entire crew was together. You will understand, but once the entire crew together, this book really picked up its pace. So for July, I read The Sundown Motel by Simone St. James as the audiobook. It was my first Simone St. James book, and I felt like I stepped into an episode of Supernatural, and Supernatural is one of my favorite TV shows. So I really loved it. She is amazing at capturing ghosts and like horror vibes, but still making it fun and kind of like a mystery. I have been devouring her catalog of books since The Sundown Motel. So thank you, Simone St. James, for writing books. In August, I read the sequel to Vicious, Vengeful by V.E. Schwab. And I just love Victor Vale. I think he's a great character. And the series so far is just really fun. Lots of found family. I'm excited to see where the third one goes because the ending of the second one is kind of mysterious. Then in September, I read the audiobook for Slow Dance by Rainbow Rowell. Okay, so Rainbow Rowell is probably one of the other authors that I have devoured everything she has written. I really just like how she kind of writes about everyday people doing everyday things, but it makes it feel not only valid, but kind of like those moments when you make a good friend or like you find love, just like even bigger. I hope that makes sense, but like she just does everyday people really well. Like they don't need superhero powers, they don't need magic. They just go through life, and I think that's incredible. For October, I did the audiobook of I Am Malala by Malala Yousafzai. So sorry. And I remember in 2014, when I was a high schooler, seeing that Malala had won the Nobel Peace Prize, but not really understanding why at the time. As a high schooler, you see what the news on TV was, and you kind of ignored it. But having read this book and like seeing everything she went through, I think she deserves more than just a prize. I was crying at parts. I was angry, probably like she was at parts. Her life is incredible, and she's just a strong, strong woman. November, I listened to the audiobook Sword Crossed by Freya Marsk, and this was my post-election comfort book. It was everything I needed it to be in the beginning of November to kind of like save my mental health. You know, there was political unmasking and um, making friends, but also a lot of other things. If you know look at the innuendo of Sword Crossed. Um, and then my book for December is A Darker Shade of Magic, again by Schwab. This one was another one that has been on my TBR and Goodreads since forever, and I finally decided to read it. Man, am I glad I did. The characters are so fun. Like, morally gray thief, pirate queen, sign me up, like, say less. But then it also adds in a unique, like, different type of magic, and I was just sold. It was so much fun. It's so clever. Stuff happens, and you're like, oh, I didn't see that coming. So, those are my top book for each month from January through December of 2024. Thank you for listening, and I hope one of these sparked you to want to go and read it.